Hello everyone, welcome to today's webinar. We are going to speak today about checking the fire resistance of steel structures with our software Cype 3D. For today present, it's myself, Cristina. I'm from the commercial department, international commercial department. And with us we have two Sonsoles, from our civil engineer from the technical support. Say hello, Sonsoles.
Hello everyone. Hi, Cristina.
Hello. Well, today's webinar, it's a very specific one, so I'm not going to ask a lot of things to you, Sonsoles, so don't worry about it. And I want everything to be very clear, so it's gonna be very technical presentation. But for just for the people that join us and don't know, well, who is Cype? Cype is, we are a technical engineer corporation, and we offer programs and software for design and analysis of the whole life cycle of the building project. We have software from the architectural, MEP, structures, and project management software. Today is about Cype 3D, is one of our software from the structural part, so we are going to focus in that one. And what we have also is our option digital workflow that it's used with the CDE platform that the BIMserver.center. We are not going to speak today about that, but you have all the webinars that we have in the before and directly in our web page that you can directly go there and have the explication about this CDE platform. So, as I mentioned, I don't want to worry you about the commercial things. So I'm going to give Sonsoles the lead about the presentations. But please be in the meeting until the end of that, because we are having a raffle. I think that if you have a message from the commercial, you know that today's raffle is with free different price. So be in the meeting until the end. Okay, Sonsoles, I think that it's all for you.
Okay, so Cristina, hi everyone. For sure, please do not hesitate to ask any questions in the chat. We'll be answering them all. So if there's anything that I don't comment and that you are interested in or you want clarification for, please don't hesitate to write us on the chat and we will be pleased to answer all the questions. So this is Cype's new Cype menu. Okay, this is version 2025A. And it's been structured and to complete. We previously had some of our apps only at BIMserver.center, which Cristina just commented. And now in this new version 2025, we have made a new Cype menu that covers every very used app. Okay, so in the Structures tab, we will find today's software, which is Cype 3D. And for this special webinar, I have modified a little bit an example job. The example jobs usually come with every Cype software. You can find them right away when you open any Cype app that you would like to trial. This is file manager, and you will find the example jobs. It's true, I have uploaded the warehouse example and I have modified it a little bit. Let me show you the 3D view of it and what I mean that I have modified it. So it's a typical warehouse structure. Okay, I have just modified it a little bit to add these timbers bars, which we're going to comment during this session. So like you see, you can see the 3D view, and you can also see a sketch of the structure. This is the actual screen that you work on. So where are the settings for the fire resistance? In this already inserted job, you will find the fire resistance here in project general data, along with the codes that you would like the job to be analyzed with. You will find here fire resistance. So let's speak right away about what possibilities do we have in Cype 3D to analyze fire resistance. The most advanced one would be, of course, do not consider fire situation is not today's matter. So let's speak about the following one. As you can see, the software only asks for the required resistance. Okay, in this case, we're going to make sure that the elements resist for at least 60 minutes. And I would like to point out that this software is able to apply different coatings. So, for example, you could analyze the fire resistance without any fireproof coating, just the bare elements by themselves could be analyzed and checked if they meet they verify all the checks from the different codes, or you have all these other kinds of coding, for example, fiber cement and placed board. Okay, you have mineral fiber and you have mineral or rock wool. So you have plenty of coatings. The typical ones are right here. And today I would like to present a specific this very specific kind of cover, which would be in intumescent paints. And why would I like to speak more specifically about these kind of coatings? Because in this 2025 version, the way we do it is we not only specify that we're going to be applying intumescent paint, but we have access, okay, here in this icon right here, we have access to manufacturers catalogs, okay, such as for example Hempel. We could download and directly use in our jobs manufacturers paints to be actually checking exactly what we're going to be using in our job. So for that, we need to access OpenBeam database, okay? And
Um,
the
I have a question. Sorry, Gonzalo, to interrupt you. You speak that we need this open database to have that, but can you explain a little bit what is this open bin database, please?
Sure, yes. So OpenBean database is part of the OpenBean systems. Okay, when you write OpenBean systems in Google, you could actually register right there, or you can see that in the actual software you can also register. And so many of our software actually call manufacturers have been contacted to provide the information of their elements so that we can use them in our jobs and actually to complete our BIM models. So what do I mean by that? And we have developed specific softwares for manufacturers, but OpenBeam database specifically would be the access to these catalogs. So in our case, for this webinar, what it means is that we have a library of catalogs of intumescent paints that you can access and apply directly into your job, okay? And I would like to point out that, of course, maybe the ones you're going to use are already in uploaded right here, but I don't know if you can see right here that are you missing any catalogs? This is a process that you can actually send us requests to actually implement any other manufacturer's catalog that you usually use, so we can better improve our software, and so you can use whatever you're going to be actually using. And I don't know if that answers the question. I think it's
Yes.
right here. Of course, when you access these OpenBean systems and the specific part of OpenBean database, you will, in this icon right here, you also have the request option, okay, to add uh, other manufacturers so we can use them in our jobs. So let's download, for example, the Hempel intumescent paints catalog, so we can use it for this job. So we're not only going to be covering and coating our warehouse with the intumescent paint, but we're actually going to be using this Hempel paint. Okay, I have right here the table that they offer. Okay, so the software has access to these tables of data, and basically when we use this manufacturer's paint instead of a generic coating, what we do is the software says what kind of section you are using, whether it's a beam or a column, it accesses the correct table. And in this example, we have selected a resistance of 60 minutes. So this will probably be the table that the software is accessing. And how does the software come up with the thickness of coating that you will have to apply to the elements? It just, since it has all the data, because you have in the job, you have actually, let me show you.
I have a question.
Yeah.
You are explaining now the way to use it with all the information. May I ask you a little bit what is the difference between to have this information already from these catalogs or not?
Yes, of course. So that's a very good question, because here you have that quick access to the catalogs. Okay, you can be using exactly the paint that you will be using. This is all help, okay, because you could also in the same software analyze only the critical temperature, which is this data right here. Let me show you this factor right here. But a generic a software that is only able to analyze for you the critical temperature, you will have to provide the manufacturer that you're working with the section factor of all your elements, so they can actually tell you the thickness. But with this option that we have of already selecting a specific paint, the reports that you're going to get from the software are actually, of course, the data that has been used, but also the final result of what thickness you will have to apply of that coating for that element to be protected. So the difference is basically that you would have to provide the manufacturers at least the critical temperature. Okay, this is very important. A software that is not calculating, analyzing the critical temperature is probably using internally a data of critical temperature at these maybe 500 or whatever parameter they have selected. But this means that you are not being very specific with you're applying a general parameter, okay, and the coating could be it could end in more coating, and that means more money. So what's the difference? Yeah, what's the difference between using at least the critical temperature and of course the help that is already having that thickness? It's that you save money. Basically, you are being very specific with which items or which elements need what kind of coating, and that basically means saving money. So
I think that it's a good one. The people love to save money.
exactly. Yeah, and applying general parameters or not being able to at least analyze the critical temperature translate into that you are applying probably a thickness of coating that it's more than what you need to be applying. So let's leave it like this. Okay, let's apply this Hempo intumescent paint, and we're going to accept. So the way it is that we are going to click here in analysis, and right as we calculate the stress and strains, also the fire would be taken into consideration. Actually, when the analysis ends, it's going to tell us that the fire has been taken into consideration. Okay, it's right here. Fire resistance check has been kept in mind during the analysis, just in case you analyze your job forgetting about actually analyzing the fire resistance. Okay, so what are the actual results? When you click here in Analyze, you're able to click here in Check Elements, okay? And we could see displayed in green the elements that actually verify all the checks, and the I don't know if you can, if I move the mouse, it's going to be out of the, but I don't know if you can see the fire situation. It says that the ratio of resistance is 99%. The shape factor has been analyzed, this factor that we talked about, that you will have otherwise have to have told your manufacturer. It's right here displayed, okay? And it has calculated the critical temperature. So it notes that for this bar specifically, it needs we need a code in of 0.875 millimeters of intumescent paint from Hempel, okay? So it's very specific. We need that coating. And for whichever elements that are actually you would have to, that it's out of the table, like the critical temperature for this is very high, so the coding that you will have to be applying is not in this. You will have to check, okay, what do we do with this bar? Like, do we need to change their dimensions so they can verify? That's what you will be asking. Also, and it's very important for me to point this out, yes, of course, you can select a critical temperature, or sorry, you can select require resistance for the entire job, but you could also, because usually or in some structures we may have different zones in which the required resistance is different. So how do we apply a different fire resistance to elements if they have been inserted as bars? And I mean, here inside 3D, you have the opportunity to insert bars as generic bars, or you can insert them as beams, as long and columns. So as long as you have inserted as generic, because when you insert them as beams or columns, it detects the surfaces. But let me show you. So if I click in bar and fire resistance, for example, in this bar, you can of course be applying the general resistance for the job, or you can you'll actually tell it that for this bar or this zone in the structure, you actually want to analyze another required resistance, okay? And we kind of
And
cover also.
yeah, I have a point about that, because you are showing now from the steel sections, but I think that it's also possible with the timber, right?
Exactly. So as I showed you earlier, I have basically to just point out that we also have this fire resistance for timber structures also. Here in fire resistance, I didn't point it out, but we have two tabs. So it's steel, and you have the fire system for timber. So yes, you can be applying okay, different codings for timber sections, and this is a new feature in Cype 3D for steel bars and for timber bars. You can actually select the surfaces in touch with the sorry, the surfaces, well, and they're called exposed surfaces. So which surfaces of the actual bars are in contact with fire. So for example, a beam that has been inserted as under slab beam, of course has protection in the upper surface. So this means that you can select, because these surfaces in contact exposed to fire actually have very much to do with the section factor. So this section factor is actually the perimeter in touch with the fire divided by the surface. So if you have less surfaces in contact with exposed to fire, you are actually, you can see it here, that for a very high section factor, you have higher thickness. So it's very useful that you can now actually select which uh, exposed surfaces you have for bars. So yes, you have the example here that the analysis ULS checks that for timber sections we also do fire resistance. Okay, according to the code selected, we check both steel bars and timber bars. So apart from these results that you can consult on screen, you can always actually export these reports. So specifically for fire resistance, we have two, let's say, important reports to generate, or two checks that I would like to show you. So one of them could be selecting here fire resistance. Okay, I'm going to unselect other things just to generate it. And here in results and bars, you can see that we have the opportunity to select resistance. This would be, let me show you the report for these bars. So what information can you get out of the software? Basically, you could be, by using the intumescent paint from a manufacturer, you could generate a report already with the thickness, okay? And if you're only, if you don't have or you don't know yet which which paint you're going to be applying, then it tells you for every bar in the structure the actual, let me see, these are the checks for the, I have also printed okay, so let's, I have also printed the foundation beams. That's why, hold on, let me repeat that just quick. Sorry about that, but I have clicked foundations, which is not information that we're checking right now.
Okay.
So let's print exactly what we're interested in, which is fire resistance. And so the report will be shorter, and we can actually access. So I don't know if you can see right here, but this is like the tag for the bars, okay? And it tells you which position they're in, what forces are being applied in them, and if it's necessary, no or not the coding, which critical temperature has been calculated, the shape factor, and if it verifies or not all the checks, okay? And in a more hold on. Let's go to the actual, to the bottom, this data given. Okay, some of them were so thin that the critical temperature just doesn't give any information. So basically, you could get these results, okay, using the user. You can see what parameters have been applied using the software, and you could, as you can see, you can consult exactly which thickness you have to apply in which bars, okay, if it's not necessary, and if it is, exactly which thickness of coating you have to be applying. So I think I'm not forgetting. Was there anything else we had to talk about, Christina?
Yes, it was a very lovely technical presentation. And now the only thing that we have to explain is the prize that we have for the raffle. So
Exactly.
let me share first of all my screen. And well, Sonsoles, I think that that's all right.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you to be today with us in this very specific technical webinar, and I hope you enjoyed the presentation. Thank you. See you next time. Bye-bye.